And we would encourage you to do that. Go on 100words.ca. A lot of people go there each morning, and you can also sign up right there to have it automatically sent to you by email every morning. Okay, you can just subscribe on there as well, and you will be encouraged for sure. We are.
We are.
Every day.
I mean, who better to lead you in your morning devotions than David Mains? He's Canada's pastor, I like to think of him.
And you read through the Bible in 2 years over the course of that as well. So, all right, well, on this program over the years, and David Mains was a big part of it for many, many years, there have been probably some 15,000 guests sharing their personal stories, and we never tire of hearing these various accounts of how God has uniquely met each one in a powerful way on their life's journey. Some take the additional step of detailing their story in book form to encourage others who may be going through a similar experience and need hope. Well, Catherine Serez is such a person, and her book is entitled Faith Walker. And she's here with us to hit a few highlights from her walk. Catherine, welcome.
Thank you. It's
Great to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, one of those highlights that we'll hit in just a moment has to do with this diagnosis. This is the actual doctor's writing from a hospital report, and down at the bottom here, you see, or he's written diagnosis lymphoma. And so we'll talk about that in a moment and the miracle story after that diagnosis. But Catherine, take us back to where the faith walking really began for you. And it was in the life of your adoptive mother back in Ireland, as you tell in the book. Just share a bit about that first.
Yes, my mom Betty was raised in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and she wasn't a churchgoer when she was raised, but she had gone to a little gospel hall. And in that gospel hall, she had heard about Jesus. And she really, her heart beat for what the pastor was speaking about at the time, and she gave her life to the Lord then. She made a commitment. But it wasn't until she was 21 and when she came to Canada, and she was attending, I want to say this right, I believe it was Knox Presbyterian Church. I don't think it was Knox. Oh my goodness, I've just drawn a blank.
That's all right.
Okay, so she was attending the Presbyterian Church, sorry Mom, in Canada, and she was listening to the message of faith in Christ, and again her heart was drawn. She was very adventurous, and she came across the sea, but she knew that she hadn't kept that faith going, and at that time she was prompted by the Holy Spirit to give her heart to the Lord again, and that's where it all began. Yeah.
And so her story...
Cooks.
Oh, it just hit you.
Presbyterian.
It just hit you.
Yeah,
She got it.
There we go.
So her story, though, you begin your book detailing her early young life.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think for most of us, it's a good thing for us to kind of understand where our parents started, to really have the perspective on how they then influence us in our growing up years.
Yeah.
But you had a little rocky start yourself.
I did,
growing up.
yeah. I'm a kind of a fiery personality, and God has really tempered me over the years through many different ways, and this is actually quite one of them. But she had a lot to handle with me, and I was very passionate, and she didn't quite know how to deal with that. So, but I was raised in church, and I heard about the Lord every Sunday, and my heart was drawn to the things of the Lord. So there was always a softness in my heart toward the things of the Lord. But whenever I saw something around me that I had a hard time with, and my parents had a difficult marriage, I had a difficult time really trusting God. And so I would act out.
So what happened where you finally, I know there were a lot of details that we're going to have to jump over, when you finally did heart business with God and just came to Him in total surrender?
Well, by the time I was 15 years old, I had run away for the last time to a mission field in Bolivia. And I had
hold on here. Now, it's got to stop. So you had run away to other places, obviously, before, but you ran away to a mission field.
I thought I better get smart about this. If I'm going to really leave home, then I'm going to have to do it in a way that they're going to accept, that's going to be okay. So I'll go on teen missions for a summer. I'll get away. I'll meet a lot of people, and it'll be good for everyone. Well, little did I know the Lord was bringing me there to Bolivia so that my heart could be broken by the people that we were working with. We were building a church for deaf people. And they just touched my heart. And the Lord got a hold of me one day in our quiet time. We were required to do a quiet time for half an hour a day. And I loved reading. I loved books, so I felt challenged to read the Bible. And I was reading a verse, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart." And I knew I wasn't meek and lowly in heart. "And you will find rest unto your souls." And I knew that's what I wanted. And I said, "Okay, Lord, I surrender. I finally surrender." It was like putting your hands up, you know?
And that safe place to rest was really where you turned when many years later you'd given birth to your precious daughter, 1993, and you noticed something wasn't right.
That's right. Yeah, I had a lump pop up on my left shoulder 2 weeks after she was born. And my husband and I both knew that this was, I had been having trouble throughout my pregnancy. And my husband and I agreed I needed to go to a clinic. So long story short, I went to a clinic. And they rushed me. When they took an x-ray, they saw that my trachea had been over on a 35-degree angle. So I was coughing a lot, couldn't talk without coughing. And they rushed me to the hospital, and I had a biopsy done. And then they had to send it away to a super specialist in Ottawa. When that came back, 1 or 2 weeks later, they told me I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a very rare, super rare strain of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma called Leinart's lymphoma.
Wow. So rare that, in fact, you were telling us off air that the oncologist just recently that you talked with him, and he said out of some 20,000 patients through the years that he's worked with, that was the only case that he ever saw of that particular kind of cancer.
That's right.
Wow.
And it's interesting to note how large the lump was. Now, when you think of lump, you think of, okay, it's a lump. No, we're talking about the size of
a football.
A football.
It was the size of a football.
And it came down.
It came down. They didn't know if it was in my lung or on top. I'm pretty sure they know now that it was on top. That it pushed into my heart and caused a cardiac effusion, which is a swelling of the pericardium, and a lot of different things came out of that.
And so you were pregnant at the time, and so of course when you're pregnant, your body changes, and they're, you know, you feel like, okay, this is just all part of the pregnancy, but no, it was after giving birth that it really then presented itself.
So what was the reaction then when you got that diagnosis?
It wasn't a good one. I can't say that I was a wonderful Christian person who received that diagnosis with a good attitude. No, I cried out to God in my room. I cried and cried and cried. Like, what's going on? I have this new baby. I need to live. Why is this so extreme? It's not even, they didn't know what was going to happen. And I cried out to him, but you know what? When I cried out to him, he answered me. And he said, "It's not your time to go." And he said it to me twice. I was crying again, and I said, is that you, Lord, saying it's not your time to go? And then he said it again to me. Yeah, it's not your time to go. You need to get some things right. And he said, for one thing, you haven't asked me to heal you. And I said, yeah, you're right, because what if you don't heal me and I'm a church leader and I ask you and put my faith in you and you don't heal me? And my concern wasn't just for me, it was for the people who would be praying for me. I didn't want their faith. Anyway, the Lord said, no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about them. Just ask me. I want to do something in your life, but you're not asking me. So I knelt down in my room and I lifted my hands to him and I said, okay, Lord, I'm asking you to heal me. If you heal me, I'll praise you. And if you don't heal me, I'll still praise you.
Now, others joined with you praying and believing God for a miracle, and then just kind of fast forward to what happened.
Okay, yes, so at our church there was a worship leaders conference, and someone paid for me to go. I wasn't even planning on going. I couldn't have known what was going to happen. They asked me to come forward to pray for me, felt that they were going to be praying for pastors' wives who had cancer. Long and short of it is they prayed for me. I had just had an x-ray. It was a full tumor, and then the next week I went back for another x-ray. It was completely gone, no trace, nothing. Completely gone. No trace.
Wow.
That's remarkable, completely gone.
In fact, here in these
God.
reports, and you sent along for us a number of, there's about 5 different reports here of tests and of results, and I see the word, normal and normal limits, and, in what was this
Praise
huge
God.
tumor, and everything went back to normal. Incredible.
I have to be in fairness. I have to say the chemo had shrunk it to about 80% the size of a football, so it had done something, but
then
nothing
it
like
was
this.
gone
Nothing like this,
completely. And Catherine, I love the fact that you detail so much in this book. And Faith Walker, you can get your own copy of this book if you visit our e-store. It is available for you. Just visit crossroads.ca or call the number on the screen, and you can get your very own copy and go into a lot more detail than we've had time to share here today. Catherine, thank you for being with us on 100 Huntley Street.
And as I said off the top in the introduction, that it gives hope to someone else, maybe that is going through a difficult time, and maybe that's you and you need prayer. Please give us a call on our prayer line. We'd love to join with you in faith, believing God for a miracle in your situation. He is able.
Yes.
And God bless you, Catherine, and your husband. You've planted a church in the Waterloo area, and God bless you as you continue on with that and reaching out to so many people. All right.
Stay with us. There's more to come.